Emily, thank you so much for your go give heart, your integrity in which you do your business and work this company and just taking time to feed into everybody in the Mary Kay world. And I always hear when sometimes these are translated and even sent to women in other countries, which I think is phenomenal. I would love, I don't even know how I would do that. That's probably something I need to look at next is get someone from other countries to do our Zooms or something. That would be fun too, right? To share that back. But thank you so much for all that you do for the Mary Kay world and taking time out of month end to do that for us today. And I'm going to let you take over because I never want to share too much in case that's part of your training.
Thank you, Jennifer. Oh my gosh, thank you for doing these lunch and learns. I was kind of new to it maybe 6, 9 months ago. I had heard about it, and it's been great. So thank you for doing all of this. And just to introduce myself, a lot of you probably don't know me. My name is Emily Schutte. That's how you pronounce that last name. And I've been with Mary Kay. This October will actually be 19 years. And I have to say that time flies when you are having an absolute blast. And I'm excited to share with you today. I'm going to try to weave in some of my story, but I grew up on a farm in a town of 600 people in Wisconsin. So the whole makeup and skincare thing was never my thing. But I, went to college in Minnesota, and that's where I live now. I live about 45 minutes south of Minneapolis in a very small town again. It's my jam, apparently. And I moved here to go to college. And of course, when you graduate, you get your first job, right? So I had an internship at a public relations firm, and I knew right away. I was like, nope. It was really catty and cutthroat, and I was really looking for something. And I didn't know it at the time, but I always had an entrepreneurial heart, and I think it was from growing up on a farm and watching my parents do that. And so I really joined Mary Kay for one reason. I was doing this other business out of my house. It was a stock photo agency, and I never left my house. I had zero coworkers. I wasn't talking to anybody. And I like that was my day. And we didn't have Zoom back in 2004. And so I really lost a piece of myself. And a college friend said that her coworker, Deb, just began Mary Kay and would I come to a party? And I was like, absolutely, because they had the intense moisturizing cream and I have super dry skin. And so I went to that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest sorority of women ever. I'm just going to do this for a social club. It's going to last 6 months. Okay, here we are, like almost 19 years later. And so I want to share some things with you. So, first off, I was not a hot start out of the gate. Maybe that'll give some of you hope. I just earned my third trip and I don't even know how many unit clubs now, but a lot. And I was not a hot start out of the gate. And so, what has taken me from that to where we are now? So, that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So, hopefully, it'll give you, I think it's a perfect time of year for this topic. In fact, this topic should be trained on all of the time. It probably is. Um, I believe that this is the most important thing, the most important skill in your business. Now, obviously, mindset's a big one, and Menina killed it last week. She had a great training on mindset. So if you didn't see that, go ahead and go back and watch that. It was so good. But this, in my opinion, is the most important skill. In fact, I have a theory. I'm a living theory actually of this that you can kind of be bad at all the other stuff. And if you're good at this one thing, you're good to go. Okay. You'll figure the other stuff out. And so, what I'm going to teach you about today is booking. And I love talking about booking. In fact, I have studied booking. And I think it's the most important skill. And you guys, Mary Kay called it the lifeblood of your business, the lifeblood, not the, it's kind of important or sure, sort of. No, it is like the lifeblood of your business, meaning without bookings, your business is dead. And I know that's really dramatic, but it's true, right? And one thing too, if we're at a time of the year, we're finishing the month, we're gearing up for like the next 3 months until the end of the actual year. Maybe you're like sick and tired and you are ready to get something going, and you know that the bookings you have right now are not matching the goals that you have. And I just want to say that it is new faces that will take you places, right? Sometimes we get really hung up on like the faces we've been seeing, the same faces. And there's obviously huge value in getting our customers on more products, but it is new faces that will take you places. So we're going to talk about all the things. And here's what's cool, you guys. I look on Zooms like this, I look around seminar, and I just see all these incredible women, like of all levels, from new consultants to NSDs, and they're beautiful and they're smart and they're confident and they're everything. And I just think in my head, All these people have to do is position all of that awesomeness in front of a lot of people, and they're all going to have the goals that they want. And so that's why I'm really passionate about this topic. So we're going to dive in. So the first thing, so before we talk about booking, maybe you're like, okay, I'm excited. I want to book. I need leads. Like, I have to have people to book. If new faces are going to take you places, then I have to get new leads. And I want to talk about leads because there are women everywhere. Baby girls are being born every day. There's tons of ways to get leads, right? There's expos, there's honoring working women, there's restaurant events, facial boxes, referrals, skincare surveys, warm chatter, all these different things. And I had to become a master of it because when I joined Mary Kay, I knew two people in the state of Minnesota, and this is before we were virtual. And it freaked me out. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of more introverted. I don't know that I can meet people. And so I just want to dispel a limiting belief you might have about leads or getting meeting new leads or going out and lead generating or however you want to word it. So I want you to think of something that you love to do. Maybe it's a hobby that you have. Like, what's your favorite thing in the entire world to do? Okay. I'm going to give you my example. I love, 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 love going on trips. Okay. So the Top Sales Director trip motivates me. We had a blast in Spain this year. I love to travel. Now, I want you to take that thing that you love so very, very much. And is there like maybe one tiny piece that you're like, it's not my favorite? Okay, true story. I am notorious for this. I love going on trips. My suitcase, when I get home, literally sits on the floor of my bedroom for weeks until I am just like fed up with it. So okay, we got home from the trip on September 11th. I just put all of my stuff away finally like 2 days ago. Okay, so but the point is I'm not gonna allow my disdain for unpacking to prevent me from doing the thing that I love, which is going on trips, right? And so lead generating might be that for you. It was for me for a while until I got confident in it. It wasn't my favorite thing in my Mary Kay business, but I loved being in front of women. I loved doing appointments. I loved, the cash flow that I had as a result of all of that. And so I promise you that in the process, you're going to get more confident in it. And it doesn't have to be your favorite thing, right? Don't even try to make it your favorite thing. It doesn't have to, but it is something you might need to do. Okay. So I'm going to give you my top 10 solid booking tips to always have lots of bookings and lots of results. So number one, and this is my most important, and probably like if you feel like you're never quite getting to the momentum you need, this is an Emily Schutte original. Okay. I can't take credit for a lot of things, but this is like an original. In fact, if you called any of my consultants at like 3 a.m. and said, what is Emily's number one rule? They will spring up out of bed and they will be able to tell you this. And it is you never want to rely on future business to get business. Okay, so never rely on future business to build your business. I'm going to explain what I mean. Let's do this. You and your director have a conversation, or you and your national, or whatever level you're at, you decided on your own that you have this goal you want to hit. And let's say it requires you to have 10 parties or whatever virtual sessions. You guys, when I talk about booking, I'm talking about in-person sessions. I'm talking about virtual sessions, Facebook's. It doesn't matter how we're doing appointments. We have to book them, right? So it applies to all of them. So let's say you decide you need 10 to hit your goals. You probably should book 15, right? But instead, what a lot of people do is they book 4 to 6, and then they go, oh, I did it. I'm awesome. I got 6 parties up. Okay, yes, you are awesome. But then this is where it goes bad. You say, okay, well, I have 6 up, so I'm going to hold those 6. And I know that from those 6, I can get referrals or I can book parties from parties, and it's going to be good. Like, I only need 6. So you get your 6 up, but then, tale as old as time. You guys know what happens, right? Like sometimes some of them fall off, some of them cancel, somebody, can't get Zoom to work. So whatever it is. And then pretty soon your 4 to 6 is now down to 3. And we still don't have the 10 up that we need. So my suggestion is get the 10 up or whatever the amount is that you need and then use the bookings from the bookings and the referrals and all the things that you get from those appointments as icing on the cake to take you into actual momentum. And this is how I'm always in a constant state of momentum in my personal business, is because I never rely on future business to build my business. So that's number one. Number two, volume makes an unpredictable business predictable. Okay, so I get this a lot, and I've also done it to my director back when I was a consultant. Okay, so maybe some of you will smile at this. Sometimes we don't have the bookings up, and we call our person and we say, well, I've asked everyone I know. I don't know anybody else. I've asked them all. And typically, when someone says that to me, I ask, okay, well, who's everyone? Like, tell me, you've asked everyone, who's everyone? Like, tell me who these people are. And usually it's about 4 to 6 people on average when I ask that question. Okay. They say, oh, I've asked like 4 to 6 people. And so here's the thing, you guys, in order for, again, for our business to really work and for it to feel good, we have to know the numbers, right? And so for me, this is true for me. About 2 in 10 or 1 in 5 referrals will book with me. About 1 in 3, like when a new consultant joins and she's asking friends and family, it's typically 1 out of 3 will say yes. Um, if you're doing like expos, bridal fairs, honoring working women, restaurant leads, all these different ideas that there are out there, it's 1 in 5. I listen to the great Lunch and Learn training about the Facebook lead thing, and that's not definitely another thing where you need to work the numbers, right? So I always tell people, if you really want to change the complexion of your business, go get 50 to 100 leads and book them all at one time. Um, because here's what happens. Sometimes we get really excited and we get one booking, right? And we're like, yes, I got this one booking. And you guys, I get it. I remember being a new consultant and it was like, I was terrified to get bookings. And so I got the one booking. And so we call our director, we call our person, and we're like, oh my gosh, I got this booking. And she has told me there are going to be like 20 people there. I'm going to need more trays, or I'm going to need more sample packs. And we get all like excited because sometimes our hostesses are better sellers than we are. They sell us on like, oh yeah, I'm going to have like 15 people. It's going to be this like amazing party. And you haven't booked anything else. And like every conversation you're having with people is like about this one party. I'm going to tell you what your director, this is what I do when that happens to me. I am on my knees in prayer, praying that this one party holds for you, because I am nervous how deflated you're going to feel if this one party, if something happens, and you guys, things happen last minute. So working that volume helps create that, right? Consistency creates emotional security. That's something we learned on the trip. And I thought that was really, really brilliant. Um, so volume, working that volume. Number 3 tip is, okay, this one's funny. I like typed this out. I was like, wow, you're a genius. Okay. I have a lot of bookings because I book a lot. I hope you're laughing at me. But there's some truth here. So when you book a little bit every day, okay, just a little bit, it means you're always getting messages back every day. Like if you think about it, if you started sending out messages every day you're going to get messages back. And when you're getting messages back every day, you're winning a little bit every day. And I like to win a little bit every day. I don't know about you guys, but it feels real good. You feel the progress every day, which gives you that rush of dopamine, the good feelings. You have good feelings about your business, which determine your future actions in your business, which determines the results of your business. So a little bit every single day. So here's how you're going to do that. I have busy women, we all do, right? Most women have a lot going on. We've got kids in sports. I have 2 kids. They're 11 and 7. I didn't think too hard about that. The one will be 8 soon, my daughter. But anyway, here's what you're going to do. Think of all of the times in your life when you're waiting. You're waiting for your kids. You're waiting for your husband. You're waiting for Netflix to buffer. You're waiting for the football game to start. You're waiting for the doctor appointment that you have this morning. That is the time. What do we do when we start waiting? What do? We pull out our cell phone, right? And we start like scrolling Facebook or Instagram. I don't know. That's what I do. Or just like doing stuff on our phone. That is the time, right? When you could shoot out a few messages, right? Instead of like thinking you have to sit for 2 hours straight and book, think about doing it as a fluid thing that you do throughout your day. And I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. I use a texting platform, which helps me with that. Um, and the other tip here, okay, this is how you're going to do it. I have this theory that if you've been in Mary Kay any longer than, I don't know, say 3 years, you have no less than 15 tote bags sitting around, right? Because we get all these awesome, amazing tote bags. Okay, so you're going to take one of those tote bags. So this is a tote bag that I have that's a Mary Kay. It doesn't have to be a Mary Kay tote bag. Honestly, it could be any tote bag you have in your house. And this is now going to be your dedicated booking bag, meaning this thing is like, pretend that it's strapped to you and you take it everywhere with you. You take it in the car with you, you take it to the soccer field with you. I mean, literally this puppy is going to go everywhere with you. And so you're like, well, what's in the booking bag? Okay, so I'm going to show you what's in the booking bag. The booking bag has obviously your date book, because that's a thing you're going to need. I always carry a notebook. I pull a new notebook every month because I like to make notes about people. So this is my notebook, any leads you have to call or work with. And then, depending on what you got going on, you might need your scripts. And I know with my unit, I make like a booking guide for them that has all our scripts and all the tips and stuff, and then a highlighter and a pen. So this is going to go with you everywhere. So, and if you work a full-time job, maybe you have a 20-minute break. You could hash out a couple of messages or whatever. But sometimes the thing that prevents us from doing it is just because we don't have the stuff with us, right? So this way, you have it with you all of the time. And it allows you to book a little bit every day. So you're always getting messages every day. I promise you, it's going to change your business. You're going to feel really good all the time, and booking isn't going to feel so hard. Okay, this is tip number 4. This is one that I have thought a lot about, and this is for anybody who wants to increase their booking results. I do want to clarify too that I get asked all the time, like, Emily, do you call people? Do you text people? And it's like this big controversy, right? You guys, however you get results, however you get bookings, whatever works for you and your family. Like, I remember nursing babies and like texting was it, right? Because I could like hold my phone and text. It doesn't matter, you guys. The bottom line is get results, right? Like, if whatever works for you, right? Sometimes I do a hybrid method where we're texting and I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. Let's just call each other. And then I call her and we finish it out over chat. But this one is big, especially with text booking. If you want to increase your text booking results, booking is a game of ping pong. Now, I don't know if you call it ping pong or table tennis. I don't know. I'm in Minnesota. We call it ping pong, the little back and forth with the little paddles. So here's how booking works, right? You text her, that's a ping. She texts you back, that's a pong. Then you text her back. Well, what day works for you? Are you a weekend or a weeknight person? She texts back, I like weeknights. You text her 6 or 6:30. She texts back 6 o'clock. Okay, so that's what ping pong is like. But sometimes what happens is it's ping and pong and ping and pong. You're the pong and ping and then pong and then pong and then pong. And there's no ping coming back to you, right? We've all had that where you're like, where'd she go? Like, where'd she go? So I have learned that if I can decrease the amount of volleying back and forth, I increase my booking results. Meaning, I want to book people on less. Like, if you count ping and pong as one, ping and pong is, there's 4. I want to do it on 4 or less. I want to be able to book her. In fact, the way that I book with scripts, and I'm going to give you a really good tip here in a second. I've had the ping where I send the original message, whatever the message is. It could be a referral message. It could be from a bridal expo, whatever. And the next message is, I'll take August 20th at 6:30. Pong. Like, I've booked ping and pong. And it's that less back and forth, because you're going to lose people in the back and forth because of what they have going on in their lives, right? So my number one tip to reduce the amount of pinging and ponging is to make a picture with your availability. And I'm going to show you what mine looks like. Make it in a platform that's easy for you to edit. Okay. So if you're a Microsoft Word person, make it in Word. I make things in Canva. Maybe you like Piccolage. It doesn't matter. It just needs to be easy for you to edit. And so anytime I go to book, I update this picture. I also think it's important in this picture to kind of like brag yourself up a little bit. Like I put this many years in the industry and I have a really nice picture of me so that they know I'm a person, right? We want them to know that. So here's what so I send this with every booking text. Oh, I can't, you know what? I can't share my screen. No biggie. I have a picture of it.
I just made it where you can.
Oh, thank you,
Sorry. Yeah.
Jennifer. Okay, hold on. I got papers galore here. I'm in my daughter's room because I got people at my house right now. Okay, here we go. Um, I'm going to share this. Here we go. So this is what mine looks like. So I have all of my availability, all the dates that work for me. You could put your time slots too. I'm a little more flexible on time because this is what I do full time. But if you're not, put that in there. And then all of my info, I put, what products it is, virtual or in-person appointments, how many years of experience, and that type of thing. So I have found that attaching your picture makes a gigantic difference just in the amount of volleying back and forth. The other tip is a lot of times too, they'll say, well, gosh, this sounds really cool. I got to check with my friends, right? Okay, I get it. So what I do, again, to reduce the amount of like pong, 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 no one's talking to me, and you keep checking in and she's not getting back to you, I always text back and say, great, if you're able to pick a date. So let's say I was booking today, which is Thursday. I would say if you're able to pick a date by Saturday or Sunday, I would pick one of those two. I'll include a hydrogel eye patch treatment in your appointment. They were featured on Good Morning America and they feel amazing. So again, and then that gives me permission to check in with her on Saturday or Sunday and be like, hey girl, just want to check in. I want to make sure you get that hydrogel eye patch treatment at your appointment. Were you able to pick a date with your friends? So it gets that date a little bit faster too. So that's great. Okay, tip 5. Got a few left here. Get your contact list together and include your chicken list. Whenever I'm stuck in my business, I pull out a notebook and I make a list. And you'll be amazed when you actually just start making a list. You're like, okay, there are in fact still people I have not facialed. In fact, I've been in the business almost 19 years. There are still people I have not asked. And we all have a chicken list, right? Like people that intimidate us for any which reason. And sometimes the best thing to do with that is to write them down and then talk with someone and be like, okay, what's a strategy I can use to contact this person? Here's why I'm terrified. And sometimes I just tell people, like, I've been terrified to contact you for the last like 2 years because you're just someone I really admire from afar. And you guys, people are really flattered like that. So sometimes when I don't know what to say, I just say the truth. It's the best thing ever. Okay, tip number 6. Okay, talk to people like they're people. Not talk to people like they're robots or like they're a corporate acquisition, right? Talk to people like they're people. And especially in today's world, right? Women want fun, they want joy, they want reassurance, they want to trust something. So I want you to imagine that you are having brunch with your 3 best girlfriends. You know who they are. You know who they are, right? And you guys are laughing and you are just having, I mean, when I go to lunch with my college friends, my besties, it is fun and hours just fly by, right? That's how you should talk to people, is how you talk to your besties at brunch, okay? Make them excited to meet you because you're letting you shine through. And this is the other thing. I was talking with someone on the trip about this. I rarely have cancellations. And it's not because I do some fancy thing at my appointments. It's because I'm really good at creating intrigue and connection, even over text, before I meet with them. So, for example, sometimes I'll be text booking something and she's like, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you. My kids are in basketball and it's just been crazy. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, I have kids too. And I totally get it. Like, life gets crazy when you have them. And so just using those like connect points as you're talking with people can be really good. Make them excited to meet you. Now here's some ways to do that. Add emojis to your texts. Find commonality, connect with them. And this is kind of a joke, but I'm 100% serious. If you come from a corporate background, okay, I tell my corporate gals, I'm like, you have to add a minimum of 3 emojis to your texts because they have to come across friendly and not salesy and not too professional. You know what I'm saying? So if you're of the corporate persuasion, add at least 3 emojis to your text, and I think it'll help your results. You don't have to listen to me, but give it a try. Okay, tip number 7, you will probably need to contact people more than once. Um, I don't know what it's like where y'all are from, but I'm from the Midwest. And in the Midwest, we do this thing where if we text someone and they don't text us back, we automatically go to this, like, we go straight to the basement and we're like, she hates me. She hates Mary Kay. She never wants to talk to me just because we didn't hear anything back, right? Like we call it being Midwestern about something. So we just always think we're making people mad. It's called Minnesota Nice. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but here's the reality. Only 2% of bookings come from the first time you reach out. And I forget the rest of the statistics, but it's something like 80% happens on the fourth, fifth, and sixth contact. So you need to follow up with people more than once. People are distracted, right? I get texts all the time and I'm like, oh, I got to reply to that. Well, now the UPS man's at my door needing something. Then I, get into the house and something, my daughter needs something. And now I forgot about the text or I replied to it in my head at 2 a.m. Do you do that? But you didn't really reply. It happens to other people too. Okay, tip number 8 is related to number 7. You are not bugging people. Okay, read that again. You are not bugging people. The only time you're bugging people is if they say no, and it is like a no, not interested, and you continue to contact them, right? If they aren't responding, I have no idea. I mean, I'm good at a lot of stuff, mind reading, not so much. Like, I don't know if they're not contacting me because the UPS man distracted them, like I just gave in the example, or because they just aren't interested. I can't tell the difference. And so, unless you're a mind reader, right, it's okay to follow up with people. And I actually get so many texts back on a daily basis that are like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, life has just been crazy. And every time I see it, I'm at work and I meant to reply and I didn't. So, I do get a lot of people, that say that. So, feel free to contact people more than once. And if I legit ever feel like I'm bugging somebody, again, going back to the tip I gave earlier, I'll say, I'll make it funny and I'll say, oh, over confirm queen here. Don't want to lose my crown, but just want to check in on our appointment or whatever, just like make it funny or, hey, I hope I'm not bugging you, but like, this is what blah, 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 whatever it is. So, okay. I have 2 left here in a second. Okay. Tip number 9 is use 2 forms of communication to increase your results with booking, right? So depending on what information you have for someone, if you only have their phone number, then 2 forms of communication might be mixing it up with calling and texting. People love to hear your voice. Don't be scared. If you have their email, I'll text and shoot them an email saying, hey, hope you got my text. I know how phones are sometimes, here's the info from the text. And so sometimes if they don't get your first message, that can increase your chances of kind of reaching somebody, which is great too. And then tip number 10 is tracking your bookings, right? I think, and I'm guilty of this. Like you start texting people, and if you don't use like a texting service, you know what I'm saying? That you can text from your computer or your phone. And then they have like groups you can put people in. It's real easy to lose track of people, lose track of their phone numbers, lose track of your conversations with them. It gets lost in space somewhere. And so again, that's why I like to have that notebook in my booking bag. So if I'm having a conversation with someone, I actually take notes during the conversation so that I remember what I'm supposed to do for next steps, when I'm supposed to contact her again, because that's even harder because it's not written out like a text would be. And then for sure with texting. So, obviously if you're using a texting service, it's easy, but if you're not, I actually just have a really simple tracking sheet that my consultants use. And I have all this stuff on my website, so I can post it in the Facebook group, but it just has like your name and phone and how many attempts you've made and just like notes about them, just to kind of help you keep track of all that stuff. And I typically try to keep people in different groups, like people who are working on it, people who are like a heck no, people who are ghosting me that I have to keep following up with a little bit, so that I know the difference, because there is a difference between all of those groups. Some of it's just following back up with, getting a date with them. So, okay, so here's my challenge to you. If you're feeling like, okay, I can do this, here's kind of your to-do list, right? So, make a booking tracking system. If you need to get leads, get them. Figure out your booking bag, right? Take it with you everywhere. Just try it. This is my challenge to you. Just try it for a month. Just take this booking bag everywhere and just try it. You might just like it, right? Um, so the last thing I want to talk about too is just the mindset, right? Like, not, I used to be really bad about procrastinating, especially with booking. Like, I think because we get nervous about it, even texting, and we're like, oh, okay, I'm going to book on Thursday. And then all week long, we're working ourselves up like, oh, Thursday's coming. Thursday's going to be here pretty soon. And then we get freaked out and we psych ourselves out of actually doing it. And so remember how earlier I mentioned that, all we need to do is position all of our awesomeness in front of a lot of people. What really changed for me was when I heard this. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this bomb on you. Are you ready? So what changed for me is someone said to me, when you procrastinate, people only ever get the rough draft version of you. So that means a rough draft version of you and all your awesomeness, right? And I just think, gosh, like, we're designed for better than that. I want people to get the like final draft version of me, not the rough draft version. And that means, like, if we procrastinate in other areas of our life too, our kids are getting the rough draft version of us. Our church is getting the rough draft version of us. Our team members in Mary Kay are getting the rough draft version. And so what could change for you if people stopped getting the rough draft version and they got like the full version of you, like you and all your presence and your confidence and all of it, right? So I bet your results would show up differently, and I bet your bookings would too. And I bet your bookings would hold. Like, I mean, I rarely have cancellations just because of the connection and just kind of owning that. So anyway, I hope these tips help you. I know Jennifer said about a half hour, so that's what I have for you ladies today, but it was genuinely amazing sharing with you all in this. Like, I know it seems like a really basic topic, but it legit is the most important topic to master. So hopefully that helps everybody.